a mindful practice for interacting with our environment in a very positive way. Lots of positivity today. We're all talking about positive things. Who am I? My name is John Shapter. I label myself a musician these days. I was a clinician originally. And I work with meditation as well and soundscapes, which is real good fun for me. It's my job now. And sound and hearing is one of our most powerful senses along with sight, I think, because we hear in stereo and it gives us a sense of where we are in the world, of position. And hearing was very important, probably more important a few thousand years ago, because a rustle in the bushes could be predator or prey. So it was life and death stuff, hearing. And we could hear weather coming, we could hear all sorts of things. And hearing is also one of the earliest senses to develop in the womb. So I think that's another sign of its importance. And young children react to music that their mother listened to while they were pregnant. So if you listen to heavy rock while you're pregnant with a cow, it's also one of the last senses to go. If we die natural death, it's one of the last senses to leave us. So that's why it's important to keep talking, keep a positive environment going around people at the end of life. The term deep listening was coined by someone called Pauline Oliveros, who was also an experimental musician too. And she focused on focus. Her teaching was about focusing on one sound or one note. And that mental chatter in our head, you know, the voice is always telling us what the bills we're going to pay and what the kids are doing and how we're going to get to work. That mental chatter, if you can focus on something, sound particularly, it can die away, it can quieten down a little bit. Another term we use, vertical listening, was another composer musician, jazz musician, jazz people here, called John Hassel. And he composed music to be listened to in the moment, without worrying about what has gone, without worrying about what's coming. And he talked about the cake, another chocolate cake. We've got lots of chocolate cakes out too. That this cake, the icing isn't any good without the cake, and the cake isn't any good without the filler. And you want to experience all that in the moment. And also the most difficult thing of all is to, in a mindful sense, is to listen without judgment, without prejudice, without what you're hearing. And that can be the most difficult thing. Because we're taught all sorts of things about good and bad, but the sound waves that come to our ears are just pure energy. What's starting that energy off is something completely different. And if it's how we interpret it that makes a difference. But if we just treat it as pure energy, then it helps. So we can divorce ourselves from the cause of that sound wave. Because we're taught that songbirds are good, traffic bad. But that's a false sort of filter that we put in. Because it's just sound, everything is just sound. And in our world, there's no such thing as silence. There's always sounds around. So there's always, we go to peaceful places, but there's still sound of waves, birds and wind in the trees. Sound is just all around us all the time. When John Cage wrote his infamous composition, 4 minutes 33 seconds of silence, he just told the pianist not to play. But he wasn't after the silence, because John Cage said there is no such thing as silence. He was after people experiencing those things in the auditorium, the shuffle of feet, coughing and so on. So we're going to practice the practice right now. I'm going to get you just to sit without talking and listen to the sounds of the room, listen to the sounds outside, and listen with focus, listen to all the layers, and try to listen without judgment from now. Now, while you were focusing on those sounds, were you thinking about anything else? If people got it right, then that chatter, mind chatter, disappears, and you focus on those little bits of sound around us, and that can really help us in a positive way. So that's me. Thank you for listening to me. And exit music. Thank you.